Hello, my friends. Happy Wednesday and welcome back to the live stream. I am so glad you're here. It feels very bright right now. Like there is still a lot of sun. I feel like, yes, it got darker later once the time change happened, but I feel like it went from oh, that's nice, the hour later to really, wow. I know it's only 7 p.m., but I feel like there's just so much more sun outside, and it makes me so happy that the sun has not gone down yet. It's not gonna be gone for, I don't know, maybe another hour before it's completely gone, which is one of the weird oddities of living in Minnesota, right? When we get the sun setting early, it sets really early, but when we get the sun setting late, it doesn't set until at the height of the summer solstice, it doesn't set till almost 10 p.m. or it sets, but the sun doesn't go away. You know how after sunset, it's still the sky is a little bit lit and illuminated, and that takes a little while to fade. That doesn't go away until 10 p.m. And it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. So I'm very, very grateful that this is happening. Oh my gosh, the chat is blowing up and I'm so glad to see it, you guys. Hello, welcome back, Andy. We are so glad to see you here. Let's see who else is here today. Paulette is here. Hello, Paulette. Hello, Lissa. I don't want to miss anybody. Lauren is here. Hello. Hi, Julie. Good to see you. Oh my goodness, my friends. It is so good to see you. And I love seeing you guys chat with each other. It makes me so happy that you guys are just having conversations, how you doing, and words of encouragement, all of those things happening in the chat without me even having to do anything, which is so wonderful. So wonderful. So, my friends, what to talk about this evening? My goodness gracious. I feel like this week is going by so quickly. So quickly. What's new and exciting with me? I don't even know. I sang at church this weekend for the first time since October. I was supposed to sing in November before we left for Florida for that extended period of time, but I ended up sick, and so I didn't sing just out of, safety for the other people I would be interacting with. We decided to not have me sing. So I haven't sung in a long time. And since we left and came back from Florida, they moved the church service that we were doing back into the big sanctuary. So it was in front of a much larger crowd of people than it was previously. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun to be back up on stage and leading in worship. It was just wonderful. Oh my gosh, I loved it. I loved it. Even if I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning again to do, I guess I had to do 5:30 in the morning when we were in the other room too. But the thing that doesn't make it nearly as fun is the modern service people. There's only one modern service now instead of the two that we did before. We did a 9 o'clock service and a 10:30 service. Now we just do a 10:30 service because the 9 o'clock service in the same room is the traditional service. Think choir, organ, all of that, traditional hymns, things of that nature. And so we have to get in there to rehearse on Sunday mornings before the choir, the orchestra, whoever is going to be there for the 9 o'clock service has to get in there. So we rehearse at 7 a.m. until 8 o'clock for a 10:30 church service. So we have hours of downtime in between. Don't get me wrong, it was really great because the little group of worship team, we all went into a room, had some coffee, sat together and talked. And it was really great, a good opportunity to get to know each other. But still, when you have to get up at 5:30, you're like, really? I'm getting up at 5:30 in the morning so I can sit here and not do anything for 2.5 hours. Oh my goodness. My friends, I want to hear about your week. Let's do some highs and lows. What is the highlight of your week? No celebration is too tiny. No high is too low. I want to hear all of the highlights of your week. So let me know in the chat, or if you're watching in the replay, I don't know where the chat is for you guys. For me, it's over here, but it's funny because when I look at my screen, my viewfinder is showing things in the direction I'm pointing. The computer has things mirrored. So I'm not actually pointing at the thing that's actually over here. It's very weird. Very, very Weird. Let me know in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comment section down below some of your highs for the week. And if you wanted to share a low, kind of the not so great point of your week, I'm open to hearing all about those as well in our lovely little supportive community. Let's see what is going on in the chat here. My highs are a little silly, but I found a lipstick that has colors that works for me, doesn't mess with my sensory issues, and lasts almost all day. That's a great high. That's an absolutely great high. I am here for that. I guess I never said it was my high, but like the week that I discovered my Ulta lip stains that I have been loving, like it was a good week. I have a new lip stain that I absolutely love, New products that work well for us can absolutely be highs. No problem at all. If light travels faster than sound, that's why some people appear bright until they open their mouths. Happy birthday, Paulette. I hope you had an absolutely wonderful birthday. Oh my goodness, what a way to start a week. There's a high. Another year around the sun. I love it. I made an awesome broccoli salad for a small group. It was a hit, even someone who didn't like yogurt loved it and planned on making it. I love that. Oh my goodness. That's so good. I love when you share a recipe and it's a big hit. That reminds me of me sharing the can of pumpkin and vanilla cake when we lived in North Carolina, is when I kind of discovered, no, it was before then. It was before I was married that I discovered that recipe, or learned about that recipe from a Hungry Girl email. But I vividly remember that's how I would make my cake. Because at the time I was tracking Points Plus. It was low point. It was easy for me to make and track. So as a dessert, I made it frequently. And when we started having people over and doing get-togethers, I started making the pumpkin cake for the get-togethers. For people who weren't dieting, weren't doing anything, weren't watching their calories or counting points or trying to be healthier, I would just make it and everybody loved it. And I loved when I could be like, this is going to blow your mind. You'll never guess what the recipe is. It's always so fun to be able to share things like that. Food is a language of love. I tell you what. I tried the lip stains, but the pink was a touch cool. Yeah, so here's the reality, Lissa. If it works for me, it's not going to work for you. Because if you're going for very warm toned things, I'm staying away from very warm toned things. So if a color looks real good on me, odds are it's probably not going to be your shade. Because the pink is a very bright and cool one. But here, layering with the orange was doable, but I wanted something easier. They were much better than the ColourPop ones. Yes, so they had 4 colors. I think the other 2 should be okay for you. There was the cool toned red that I have, and I'd get them out, but y'all are going to see them in the video that comes out tomorrow anyway. So I have the cool toned red, and I can't remember what shade it's called, and then the bright pink one, and those are both cool toned. Hi, Lori. Good to see you. Lori joined us for our little silent co-working session that I made public last week. And it was funny because it ended up not being, actually, that's going to be my high. My high is going to be the silent well, a lot of things. I sang at church this past weekend. My husband has been sick and I didn't catch it. And the silent co-working session, I wanted to open silent co-working session up for the public to see what one of the perks of being in my Patreon community was. And because I'll throw random silent co-working sessions up at least once a month, sometimes twice a month, because it's a great time to just kind of get together with people in a Zoom room and sit silently while you are all individually working on stuff, right? So my intention was to go to silent co-working session and like set up my group coaching Facebook group and do some admin work and just stuff at my computer, things that I needed to get done, right? Some people come with crafting stuff to do. Some people come to do actual work, like for their jobs. The list is endless, but the point is you show up and you speak your intention. Hey, this is what I'm working on for the next hour. And then we do the work. Hi, Jordan. Jordan is here. This is so funny. Your timing is perfect because I'm talking about the not so silent co-working session. So, and then you work silently for the hour, right? And then at the end, you kind of come back and gather for a couple minutes and be like, how did it go? How did your silent time go? So this happened, and I started the silent co-working session, and there wasn't anybody in attendance. And then one person popped in. And after me wondering who it was, because the name that was on the screen was a name that I had never seen before. It was like Coco Von something or other. And it was a picture of a stuffed animal. And imagine my surprise and delight when the camera loaded and it was this girl right here popping in to the Zoom call. So immediately, when it was just her and I in the Zoom call room, the whole concept of silent co-working went away. It was gone. And instead, we chatted. We chatted about anything. Yes, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. We're talking up a storm. And then somebody else comes in who had been a Patreon member previously and who's been a member of the community for a very long time. So she kind of was not surprised when she showed up and we were just chatting away. And so she sat and she actually was like, she was doing work. And I was like, if you want to mute us, mute us. If you want to listen in, listen in. And so she sat and I think listened to us talk the whole time. And then Lori showed up, and by that time it was just a social hour. And so Lori joined in on the social hour, and it was just a wonderful time. It was a really fun time. It was completely and absolutely not a silent co-working session and not at all what they normally are. But I really enjoyed just being able to sit down and get together and chit chat with people for an hour. It was super, super fun. I loved it. It made me very, very happy. It sounds so fun. It was so fun. It was great. It was awesome. It's not something that could have happened if like 25 people had showed up and everybody was trying to hold a conversation. But because the group was so small, it worked out really well. And we just got to chit chat. And I talk to Jordan all the time, but I've never actually spoken to Lori before. And so now I feel like I know Lori a little bit more, which is really, really nice to be able to get to know another member of the community. It was good fun. It was good fun. So that was definitely a high from my week. Small group is over for a few weeks. I didn't want to show up late and didn't have any work, and I can't get past this cold sinus thing. That cold sinus thing is going around. Like my husband is still trying to shake it, and it's a week. It's been over a week actually. So it's going around, whatever it is. And I am like every time that my throat gets a little bit tired, and let me be clear, like I go downstairs and work out in a basement that is far too cold for me. So like lately I've been very sensitive of like, because I've been lifting heavy, I've been breathing in, and I actually took a hydrometer and thermometer downstairs, and it was 61 degrees in our basement compared to our nice 70 degrees in the normal livable area of the house. And so I'm breathing in that air. And the last couple of times I've done it, my throat has actually been sore. Yes, Lori was the one with the grapes. Yes, she was. And Lori gave us a great suggestion, life hack that I didn't know. That, like, I don't know why I had never thought about it. So Lori gets credit for this, but she was food prepping. Well, that's what she decided she was going to do while she was on our silent, not so silent co-working session. So she came on in the kitchen and was food prepping. And she uses, like those containers that like blueberries and raspberries and the little plastic containers come in. She uses them as portion control containers. And I was like, that's the most brilliant little hack for like free food storage ever. It's like my husband and I who use the deli meat containers from the Good and Gather brand deli meat. We have literally a stack this high stacked upon each other of these containers that we reuse over and over and over and over again. But I've never once in my life considered using like the raspberry and strawberry and blueberry containers for like portion control. Ever. I've never thought about that. There you go, Lori. You made an impact. I ended up keeping my blueberry containers this week because of Lori. I love it. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh, everybody has the cold thing. That's not fun, y'all. That's not fun. My goodness. Okay, so I only have all of my banners that I have are from last week. But that's okay. I didn't update them, and I have to check because sometimes Miss Kim comes in last minute with a question, but I only have one question, and I want to address it, but now is Q&A time, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have anything that you want to talk about, and it doesn't have to be a question, if you have a topic that you want me to start rambling on, wow. Okay, so I looked down because I opened Instagram. Let me see if I can get it to, oh no, it's gonna reload. Never mind. Jordan Syatt's latest reel is literally him like way close up in the camera, and I looked down and his face was just right there. Woo-wee. That was shocking. That was shocking. Okay. What questions do we have? Just the one. Okay. So let's see what we got going on here. Yesterday was my last day as a pharmacy tech. Now on Saturday, I started my semi-retirement, working 4 days a week, same schedule as my hubby. That is awesome. I love that for you. That's great. You're welcome for that hack. It was a good one. Lori. It really was. So the question that I was asked was, can you talk about the spoon theory? I lose energy from overthinking. So we're going to talk about spoon theory for a minute. The spoon theory, for those of you that don't know, is a theory. I don't know who came up with it. I don't know what specific chronic illness started it. I don't know. But what I do know is I subscribe to the spoon theory very, very much. There's also a TikTok video that I think is on my phone, and I don't have a link for it, but I actually saw somebody who like took spoon theory to the next level and compared it to like your status bars in a video game, and it was absolutely brilliant. But we're going to stick to spoon theory. Spoon theory is this theory that when you wake up in the morning, you are picture. It was somebody trying to describe chronic fatigue or what life is like with a chronic illness to somebody, right? So let's picture that you're sitting across from me at a table, right? And in between us, I put down 10 spoons. And I look at you and I say, okay, these spoons is the amount of energy that I have to accomplish life today. These 10 spoons, right? And then everything we do costs us a spoon, right? And this is true for everybody. We all have a certain amount of spoons that we wake up with for the day. Typically, people without chronic illness it could be said, have many more spoons to use than people with chronic illness. And people without chronic illness could also have a consistent number of spoons, right? But let's say for kicks, you have 10 spoons. And then you get out of bed, make the bed, and have breakfast. Well, that costs you 2 spoons, right? Then you got to go shower and get dressed. There's another 2 spoons. Okay. Then you have to work for 8 hours. Well, there goes 4 spoons, right? What are we at? We're at 8 spoons and it's 5 p.m. So it means you got 2 spoons left to do what else do you have to do? Run errands, help the kids with homework, clean the house, cook dinner, get ready for bed, because that costs spoons too. And so you run out of spoons. And so people use the spoon theory to illustrate that with chronic illness, you have to be much more deliberate and intentional about what you choose to spend your spoons on, right? So, oh, did you find the video? It is such a good video. Everybody needs to wait until this is done, but like copy that link that Lissa just put in. If you want to hear a really, I related it to my life very, very much. If you want to know what it's like to live with an illness that has chronic fatigue, that TikTok video is gold. It's beautiful. Hi, Rosie. Good to see you. And so one of the things that is a kicker is, especially with chronic fatigue, you don't know how many spoons you wake up with. So there are days I wake up and I realize that girl's got 20 spoons to work with today. And those are the days that I'm like Superwoman. I do the workout. Even on Monday was one of those days. I had all the energy and I did back-to-back weight training workouts, y'all. Back-to-back weight training workouts. I did day 1 and day 2 in the same day. And I felt great about it. Yesterday, I got 14,000 steps. By the time I got home, I was beat. Oh my goodness. And it's a very interesting balancing act, because there are days I have 20 spoons, I can use them all, and it's fine. There are other days where nothing could have changed. Exact same routine, exact same bedtime, still had those 8 to 9 hours of sleep, and I wake up and I only have 10 spoons. And for me, this is very, very much to the individual, but for me, my biggest problem is most days, I don't know how many spoons I have waking up until I'm about halfway through my day. So imagine if you have these spoons, right? And the spoons are your total number of energy, but you go through half your day with your spoons underneath a napkin. So you can't actually see how much energy you have until ta-da, surprise. So imagine there's either the surprise of, hey, you've got plenty of energy, good for you, keep going, or there's the surprise of 2 p.m. hits and you've hit a wall because, uh-oh, you've used all of your spoons and you didn't know. Both of those scenarios have happened in my life. Now, the question, she related this to, I lose energy from overthinking. I am not sure that that is spoon theory specific, but I completely understand where you're coming from. Because there are days where like you're doing the things or something anxiety provoking happens, or it's something happens and it's all up here and you get drained. You get drained. It does happen. It's a whole, I think it's a whole different thing, right? Mental fatigue and burnout and all these things. You guys, oh, we got to take a step back for a hot second. I'm showing up at the right time. My energy levels have been crazy low lately. Yeah, we got to pick you up and turn you around, Rosie. I'm slowly clawing my way out of lower energy. I'm more days than not. I'm having more high energy days than low energy days. But I am having days where, and this is in the video game analogy, but there are days where like you overspend, right? So there are days that I'm like, I'm feeling awesome. I'm feeling great. I got 20 spoons, blah, blah, blah. But really, I only have 10 spoons. I just withdrew from tomorrow's spoons. I've done that a lot. That is something that happens frequently with me, is I will have one really good day or two really good days. There's a reason that I worked out twice on Monday so I could keep my rest day today. Because I have found that about 2 days of hard work and push, if I don't get a break, I will break. And I will just be so tired. And there are days I've been waking up and I'm just like, I'm exhausted. And literally, all I did was get out of bed this morning. The act of getting out of bed, getting Gracie out of her cage, and making my coffee and plopping down in my recliner like I do every single morning was enough to make me go, well, I need a nap. Problem, I don't nap. It happens. So you can draw from some people draw from the next day. So if I only had 10 spoons and I spent 15, I only wake up with 5 spoons the next day, and I have to be very selective about where that energy goes. Or if I'm not selective, I spend half the day on the couch. It's woof. Mental illness and neurodivergence. Yes, there you go. And I believe it. I believe that it could too. Maybe I do have a little bit of the neurodivergent side as well, but I experience it mostly from a physical side. Now, admittedly, when I start to get physically tired, my mental strength starts to go too. That is something I have noticed. My focus becomes less. My mental acuity becomes less. It's all linked. It's all linked. But I hope that was a helpful look into the spoon theory from somebody who is just, this is just how I understand it and how I apply it. I'm sure there are plenty of places that can give you a description of the spoon theory with a lot more nuance than what I do. But I absolutely believe that there's the physical side of the fatigue and the mental side of the fatigue. And it is work to have to figure out how to, for all of us, make sure we stay within our spoons budget every day. It's work. Which leads me to, I want to talk to you guys. I want to tell you about this now because I am so excited about it, even though I'm only, I think, a third, maybe 40% through this book that I just started listening to / reading. I literally bought the Kindle book, and then like, do you want to add audible narration? And I was like, yes, I do. So I have the audiobook too. I love getting into it. Task requires a shovel and you only have spoons, or maybe you have spoons, but they're all slotted spoons. Yeah, I don't have the energy to overthink that. It's a meter. It's a meter. That's how which is why the video game thing is a really great analogy. It's like, how many hearts do you have in your life bar and how full are the hearts? And it's just up and down. That's it. Yes, brain fog is real. Brain fog is absolutely real. Oh man, and my brain fog gets worse. If it's worse. So for me, there's like the natural progression of things. Like if I'm having a good day and I'm energized, and it's like everybody's energy is like this, right? Throughout the day, you start high, you end low. That's the normal rhythm of how things are supposed to go. So my mental acuity does the same thing. I start, which is why the whole concept of eat that frog, right? Get up and get the most important thing done, because that is when your mental strength is typically at your best. So, like, as I get fatigued throughout the day, mental stuff, focus, things like that start to go. I find it a lot harder. Brain fog is a lot worse on days where I wake up tired physically than on days where I overdo it physically. There's just something about like not having that rest or whatever the heck it is. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm completely sidetracked. So I downloaded this new app for my computer called Akiflow, Akiflow, to try out. And it is like a whole task batching thingamabobber productivity thing. Okay. I've been really into using more digital things to keep myself organized than physical things. I've not been a good planner person lately. This still says Monday the 27th on it, and it is Wednesday. But one of the things, you know how I don't know about Windows or PCs, but on Macs you have the bar up at the top that's got like your Wi-Fi and your date and your time, and then your battery life, and then like certain apps will also be up there. This Akiflow thing is up there as well, and it will tell you what it syncs up with your calendar, and it will tell you either what event is upcoming and how long you have until it happens, or it will tell you how far into an event that you are. Okay. Currently, it has the Panthers game because my Google Calendar is synced up to this calendar that is for all of the hockey games, that is run by I don't know who, sports people. I don't know. I just noticed that it is telling me the score of the game. It's telling me the score of the game in real time on the top of my thing. I see Panthers won. I did not know that was a thing. I can't decide how I feel about it. It doesn't really matter to me, I guess. But I was like, oh, I can literally do my live stream and keep track of the score of the game without even having to watch. How interesting is that? Same with my visual stamina. If I didn't sleep well, my energy is lower. My eyes burn earlier and earlier in the day. 100%. And not eating enough protein. That's everybody. Blanket statement. That's everybody's problem. Eat more protein, drink more water, and then see how you do. Seriously though, drink that water. Water, protein, fiber, all the things, and sleep. I tell you guys this all the time, and I feel like I'm a broken record, but I need to be a broken record because these things are important. These things are very important. Protein, fiber, water, sleep, stress relief. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about this book because it's all kind of springboarding off of this. If you need more water, y'all, stop, drop, and chug right now. Okay. So I started reading a book called and you've heard me talk about this in a video before, like a book I want to read. I finally started reading it. The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. I can't tell you how many times in the first hour of the audiobook I felt called out by this person. And he's very eloquent in how he says it. He's very, not shaming, not guilting, just kind of a tell it like it is type of person, almost like a little bit of a tough love person, because he was in the place that he is describing And the rest of the book is him telling us the steps it takes to get out of that place of hurry, and what hurry is doing to us, and how anxiety levels have changed just in the last couple of years. And like the statistics and stuff that he's spouting in this book are amazing to me in like the most depressing way possible. You know, like how much time we spend on social media, how much time we spend doing XYZ. Like he's got all of these statistics. And every time that he says one, I'm like, called out. Ooh, that one stung a little bit. And then there's like his 10 signs that you live in, or you have like the hurry disease, or I can't remember what he called it. But all that to say, it is a book that was recommended to me by a girl in our small group for Bible study. So full disclaimer, this book, I did not realize just how Christian driven this was. Dude's a pastor, the guy who wrote it. And the concept of the book is how to live like Jesus, the ruthless elimination of hurry. And so the part that I was just listening to / reading while I was eating dinner, bear with me, Christian friends, non-Christian friends, bear with me. Because think about it. Whether you're a Christian or not, when you think of Jesus, what type of person do you think of? And do you think of somebody who's anxious, somebody who's rushed, somebody who's hustle and hurry, and oh my gosh, I'm late, and I can't, I'm too busy, and blah, 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 and this lengthy to-do list? Whether you're a Christian or not, when you think of Jesus, you don't think of those things, right? You don't. You think of this kind of chill dude who's walking around, doing his ministry stuff, doing what he's supposed to be doing, but at this pace that is slow. At this pace that is slow. And then the two examples that he gave in this part so far, I haven't even gotten to the part where this is like, this is how to change it. I haven't even gotten there yet. I had to put the book down and come up here before I got to that part. So I don't actually have the steps for you. But it was so interesting because he was like, think about it. In the Bible, when he found out that one of his best friends, Lazarus, was dying, what did he do? Did he go, oh my gosh, and hop a plane and get there ASAP? No, he stayed in the same place for 2 more days before he journeyed to go see Lazarus, who, of course, as we know, by the time he got there was dead, right? And, no big deal. Jesus just rose him back up from the dead, which he knew he would be able to do, which perhaps is the reason behind his lack of hurry. But the point is, when we find out our best friend is dying, what do? We certainly don't stay put for another 2 days, right? And then there's the other example of the father who came to Jesus because of his daughter. His daughter was sick and dying. And so Jesus is like, all right, well, let's go see her. And en route, he stopped to help another woman. In this life or death situation, Jesus was like, all right, I'll stop. We're gonna do this thing first. And can you imagine the father like, dude, let's go. We gotta go. And Jesus is like, no, we're gonna take care of this. And then we're going to take care of your thing. And so it's like, just when I think about it, I don't know about when you think about it, but when I think about it, like Jesus is this man that is just, he embodies, peace and joy and love. And quite frankly, a little bit of chill. There are only a couple of instances where he was not chill. There's only a couple instances. But overall, like the man did not hurry. He did not hurry. So the rest of the concept of this book is what spiritual practices do we need to implement? And he even used the terms like, spiritual discipline, spiritual practices. It's not just about the spirit. It's not like a woo-woo thing. It's a health and a body and a mind practice and discipline and things. But the whole concept is we have to slow down because hurry is just going to kill us faster. And all of us live in this time of hurry, this time of addiction to our phone. And I'm the first to admit it. I'm the first to admit that this thing is a problem, right? It doesn't stop me, but I'm the first to admit that it's a problem. And high anxiety and fear over what? And busyness and chronic workaholics and always go. And he makes it also, does a really good job of also talking about like, it's not just, it's because it's very easy for me to kind of like, as I'm reading this, kind of turn the mental eye and look at my husband, right? Because he's the hard worker, the man who works more than 40 hours a week, who works a lot, who I'm always like, oh, are you going back upstairs to work some more? Chronic workaholic type of person. And he calls out those people, but he also calls out the housewives who are constantly needing to run errands or clean or whatever, or blah, 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 blah. The baristas to the businessmen, to the, like, he calls out everybody. It's not just a certain type of person, it's everybody. And it's such an interesting thing to even think about. And so I'm sitting there like anxious to get into the actual steps, because I'm like, I needed this book yesterday. I needed these ideas yesterday. And I guarantee you, I know what some of them is going to be. And quiet time in the morning needs to be like a much bigger thing, right? How often do we go, oh, quiet time, let me say a prayer for my day and blah, 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 amen. And then we're done and we don't think about it anymore. How often do we just be still? How often is it, oh, we wake up and we immediately think of all the things we need to do today, or this rigid routine that we have that we just can't let go of, where God is a very, very, very small, if not non-existent part of it. And it's just this, like, I'm so excited to get into this because even I texted the girl who suggested it to us, and our leader of our small group was also listening to it at the time that she suggested it. So 2 people in the group have experience with this book. And I texted her and I was like, I'm literally 60 minutes into this audiobook and all I can say is, wow, I am called out. And she's like, what did she say? Because she was very, very excited. And this is not a girl that I know very well, but I'm trying to be much better about like interacting with humanity, isn't it so good? It was life-changing, which isn't an exaggeration, is the text message I got back from her. It was life-changing, which isn't an exaggeration. And I was like, man, that's a good review. And I believe it. So, Christian or not, we all can learn from the man, right? We all can learn from Jesus. And if you are somebody who thinks that you might, like when you hear a book titled The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry and it excites you, like, and you're like, oh yeah, I could use a little bit of that in my life, highly suggest picking up the book, renting it, getting it from the library, whatever, because I feel like it's going to be what a lot of us need. And I'm very interested to see how what I learn in the book and want to apply, because quite frankly, I need that. Whatever that is. I don't even know what that is yet because I haven't read the whole book, but I know I need it. And so what does that slowing down and living like Jesus mean? What does it mean? Like, can you imagine being able to take that pace? He was always busy. He always had stuff to do. He always had places to go. He always had preaching that needed to be done. It's not that the man wasn't busy. It's not that he didn't have a full plate, but the pace at which he approached that full plate allowed him, like, what did it say? The book said something like, he took 3 decades to start preaching, right? And then he preaches one really good sermon, and then he goes off and prays quietly for 40 days. Like, what? One good sermon, and off he goes to be quiet again for an extended period of time before he comes back and does more good work. The book is called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. It's, oh my gosh. Like I said, I can't even give you the full review, but how many times do I give you a book that I'm 40% in and I'm like, guys, I'm sold. I'm all in. And I don't even know what it says yet. I don't even know. I'm getting you a link, Paulette. The Ruthless. Oh, look at that. It pops right up. Hardcover is $16 on Amazon. The Kindle version is $9.99. May or may not be the best $9.99 you ever spend, if it'll let me give you a link. Oh my gosh. My computer is not happy with me. Here we go. There you go. If it sends. There we go. Okay. So that's an Amazon link, y'all. Affiliate link. But so good. And if you get the audiobook version, he's the narrator is pleasant to listen to. Because I know sometimes that could be a thing. And like, if the narrator is no good, then the book doesn't feel like it's any good. This narrator is actually quite good. So And he's narrating his own book. He's narrating his own book. That's worth saying. He's narrating his own book. So there's that, y'all. There's that. That's a book that I wanted to share. And then another thing that I want to share, because no one's asking any questions. So y'all stop me. If you ask me a question, I'll answer it. But until then, I'm just going to keep on talking. In our Patreon, a community member, Amberly, shared an amazing article, equally as life-changing, in my opinion, called 3 Unsexy Habits That Immediately Increase Your Mental Strength. And I was like, oh, what is this? And you should, Paulette, let me know how you like it. It's so good. It's so good. And so I read it and immediately was like, whoa, this article is where it's at. So in the vein of, self-improvement and whatever, we've got a mental strength article. So 3 unsexy habits. And let me tell you, I have been trying to apply these all week and it feels really good. The first one is to overshoot. Overshoot. And what does that mean? When does group coaching start? Thank you, Rosie. That's great. So I do have a group coaching group that starts on Monday, my friends. Oh my goodness. I can't even believe it. And the group is small. So if you are looking for a group coaching where you can actually get some individualized attention, this is it. Now is the time. The group coaching is called Mindset and Macros, and it is where we work on, yes, getting you started on macro tracking and calorie counting and all of those things, but we also work on them, and arguably the more important part, definitely the more important part, we work on your mindsets around weight loss and wellness. And I just sent you guys a link to sign up for the coaching, for group coaching. It's in the chat box. We talk about mindsets like the scale, the power of the scale, and why it has so much power and why it should not have so much power, and what metrics we also need to use to track our progress, because the scale is a fickle and mean little mean girl, right? She's the Regina George of things involved in your wellness journey. Really, truly. Trust me. And when I say that I've had to talk multiple clients down this week from the number on the scale, and I've been getting the how can I lose weight faster? And I've had to give the you're not supposed to lose weight faster lecture multiple times. This is the stuff that we work through. This is the kind of stuff that we work through. We talk about good food and bad food. We talk about, gosh, what are the other mindsets? There are so many. Imperfection. Progress versus perfection, how perfection is going to or striving for perfection is going to ruin your ability to lose weight and find success and all of those things. And it's going to be a great round. We've got a couple of live Zoom calls that happen on Thursday nights. We've got a Facebook group where it all happens. The clients get access to the same tracker that I use for my one-on-one clients, which is a super cool tracker, if you ask me, and so much more. And it's a 6-week opportunity, great to jumpstart your weight loss and such for summertime, because it'll start Monday and it ends on Mother's Day, which is May 14th. So it'll lead us into the mid-May. And I do have a glowing review of this program, as one of my previous clients from Mindset and Macros has lost 22 pounds now. Or no, she said 25 now. Last time I talked to her, it was 22, and now it's 25. She's still going. And she's so inspired by the stuff that she learned in this, that she's like, you know what? I kind of want to be a nutrition coach too. I think this is really valuable information. I really want to use it to help other people because you helped me. And it's the most glowing review I could possibly have. And all because we do mindset shifts, and she's still going, and it's amazing. So if you want to join us, there are still spots available. Just click that little link and you can sign up. So thank you for that, Rosie. Thank you for giving me the question to give myself a little bit of a plug. Unsexy habits that will help with your mental strength. Overshoot. What does this mean? When we think of overshooting, like you hit a goal and you surpass it, right? So this article says, make it a habit to overshoot one of your goals every single day. And the example they use is they have three specific goals: studying 20 pages of first aid, writing 1,000 words, and fitness, 6 laps at the nearby park, and a strength workout. Every day I make sure to overshoot at least one of them. and never the same thing 2 days in a row. And I was like, that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. Why? Because constantly trying to overshoot the same goal, it's going to make you burn out from the goal, right? If you go, my step goal is 10,000 steps, but I'm going to overshoot it every single day, you're going to get exhausted, right? But keeping things fresh and keeping things varied and still overshooting your goals. Like, for example, what have I been doing? On Monday, I overshot by doing 2 workouts instead of 1. And I've been tracking all of this in the Discord that our Patreon has. I've been talking to them like, today's overshoot is this. Today's overshoot is this. I haven't posted it yet, but today's overshoot is my water goal. I've been drinking water like a fish today. And it feels really good because of my overshoot on Monday of doing the 2 weight training workouts. And then yesterday, I still did my weight training workout and I got almost 15,000 steps yesterday because I went to Mall of America. What else do you do at Mall of America but get 15,000 steps, right? So I overshot my steps yesterday. And today, because I can't overshoot a workout and I can't overshoot my steps, I just don't have the energy for it. I'm not even going to make it to 10,000 today. And I'm not even mad. I'm at 8,000 right now, which is good enough. It's good enough. It's fine because I made almost 15,000 yesterday. So we're overshooting this because this I can do sitting on my butt, sitting in front of a computer, editing a video, taking a course, doing the other stuff that I've been doing today. Overshooting. I'm like, this is such a wow, what a profound, like simple but profound thing. So what are a couple of goals that you have that maybe you can alternate overshooting, right? For me, I've got the fitness things. I've got, if you wanted to overshoot your calories, I'm not going to encourage this because some people get dramatic about it. But like for me, if I have like an 1,800 calorie goal most days, maybe I do 1,600. If I have an 1,800 calorie goal, maybe one day I do a 1,600 calorie goal to kind of overshoot the calorie deficit. Make sense? If I am doing, I don't know, if I want to read for 10 minutes every day, maybe I read for 15 or 20 minutes one day. See what I'm saying? And those keep getting varied up. And I just think that's a really interesting approach. Not overshooting a habit 2 days in a row was a big one for me because I've gotten to the point where I'm afraid to overshoot because I'm prone to constantly raise the bar. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I specifically said like, the overshooting is like, especially for like the calories. I'm like, I don't want you to just like constantly be like, I'm going to overshoot my deficit every single day because that's not healthy. That's not healthy. It's not healthy to overshoot any of the things at all. Why is overshooting a good thing? Seems potentially obsessive. I mean, so is hitting the mark, right? But the point of this article is to grow mental toughness, mental strength. So it's deliberately stuff that is supposed to challenge you even further and develop your mental strength. And the stronger you are mentally, the more you show up for yourself mentally, the stronger your self-esteem and your self-confidence, the stronger your discipline. All of these things compound and build on one another. So overshooting in a non-obsessive way, you still got to pick something to overshoot every day. But like Lissa said, and like I said, it's not like I'm not going to be overshooting my workouts and just turn into a 2 workout a day person. No, that's not the point. That's not what we do. But every once in a while, I'll be like, you know what? Today we're gonna push the physical limits. Let's see what happens. And you push the physical limits. And when you're done, it feels awesome. Let me tell you, both days when I finished my second workout and I was like, look at that, I did it. Awesome. I'm so proud of myself. I was so proud of myself. I felt so badass, to be completely honest with you, because I did 2 weight training workouts. Amazing. And then when I had my 15,000 steps, I was like, I'm a rock star. I feel awesome. And it builds that momentum, right? Without you deliberately just pushing on one specific thing. So today, if I can overshoot my water, even by an ounce, if my goal is 100 and I drink 102, I have overshot my goal, right? Ooh, that's a good one. Paulette, that's a good one. Overshoot your green vegetables or your vegetables in general. So maybe you challenge yourself one day. Maybe if there's one day, your meals are, you eat vegetables with dinner. maybe you figure out a way to work them into lunch too. Or if you're feeling really ambitious, you get vegetables at all 3 meals. Like, it doesn't have to be some crazy thing that beats the living pulp out of you. But overshooting green vegetables or vegetables in general, especially when you're someone who you know doesn't get enough vegetables or fiber or nutrition, great goal. And it's one day. It's one day you overshoot and then you overshoot something else tomorrow. It's a really, really cool concept. I love that. I loved that. And then the second one, so that was only number one. Number two is shock your system. This one, I haven't quite figured out what to do yet. But one of the ways that you can build mental toughness is to shock your system. And this person talked about Vipassana, which is, where is it? It's a 10-day meditation course. You're not allowed to have your phones, books, or any edible items with you. Nothing except for clothes. You're supposed to meditate for over 10 hours a day, eat less food than usual, and worst of all, absolutely no speaking with anyone. And they're, of course, like, this is not what I'm suggesting you do. Do not do this unless it's something you really want to do. But the idea is to shock your system. So how can you regularly or quasi-regularly or every once in a while, like, can you set a goal for like once a month, find a way to shock your system? Well, in this day and age, what would shock your system be? Turn off your phone and don't turn it back on for 24 hours? That would shock my system a little bit, right? Just the simple act of like not having this thing for 24 hours would be a shock to my mental system. And or some people will do like a couple days of like getting up earlier or minimizing their sleep, and then whatever the case may be, and you have to do what's right for you, but the idea is to shock your system. So for some people it's a cold shower or a cold plunge or something like that. It could be a multitude of things, but the whole idea is to shock your system, which I was like, so here's a couple some ideas to shock your system. Wake up at 4 a.m. straight for 10 days. Go tech-free for a week. I did this a few years ago, but that's a story for another time. Eat only 1 meal per day for 3 days straight. You won't die, I promise. Fasting is good for you. Go for a long run, even if you're not a runner. You don't have to go with any of these. Be creative, do something wild. Step out of the mundane and out of comfort. Let it shake you. Keep in mind that you have to shock your system and not just mildly annoy it. And at the end of it, your mind will be stronger. I add such experiences in my life regularly to make my mind strong enough to deal with adversities and adaptable to changes that may come my way. It's an interesting thought. Right? And then the third one was when I chuckled when I saw it, because I talk about this one, and it's delay gratification. This is a way to enhance mental toughness, right? Someone offers you a cookie, you say no. If I'm literally reading the article. A friend calls you up to hang out when you're supposed to work, say no. Netflix sends you a notification about some new movie, say no. It's not that you cannot do these. Eating cookies is one of my guilty pleasures. Hey, what do you know? Mine too. Hanging out with good friends is one of the most amazing treasures of life. And there's nothing I enjoy more than watching a good movie. But I don't indulge in them whenever they're presented to me. Instead, I schedule these pleasures. I only eat sugar on Sundays. On other days, I eat clean and train. I hang out with my friends on Sundays. On other days, I study and I write. Most Saturday evenings, you can find me on the couch watching a good movie and treating myself to some tomato popcorn. So the idea of delaying gratification, right? And I liked the idea of, or what I don't even know who wrote it. Who wrote this article? Akshad Sinai? I feel bad. I butchered that name hardcore. And I also don't know if it's she or he. So we're going to go with they. They said, schedule it for later. So again, it's like the cookie. Like I don't have a good example. Pretend this is a dessert, like, oh, it's staring at me. I want it immediately. After lunch, I want to eat something sweet immediately. No, you have this thing. You can eat it later tonight at 7 p.m. before the kitchen closes. That's when you can eat your treat. And just that simple act of pushing something from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. is delaying gratification and thus building mental strength. And I was like, man, that's just it's one of those things, like, I obviously knew about this because I've talked about it, But hearing it again and again, you're like, no, yeah, we have to work on this, right? This is something that we need to be working on. So those are 3 things, 3 unsexy habits. They're not supposed to sound good. They're not supposed to sound fun. They're none of those things. Unsexy habits that will immediately increase your mental strength. So shout out to Amberly for sharing that article because it's a good one. It's a really, really good one. If a friend calls me up to hang out and I'm available, I'm absolutely saying yes. This was just an example. Stop taking things so literally. It might be great for somebody who's easily distractible, right? Or who's on a deadline. So if somebody called me on a day that I had, I knew I had a video that needed to be published the next day, it was a sponsored thing, blah, 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 blah. And someone said, hey, do you want to go get coffee? I would have to say no. I would have to delay gratification for the sake of the work that I'm trying to do, right? But if you're available, go, right? And I think that was the point, delaying the gratification. If that person wasn't available, they're supposed to be writing, they're supposed to be studying, they're supposed to be working, then they're not available by definition, right? So it's not quite the same thing. Anyway, that's what I've got this week, y'all. Sharing with you all the good stuff. I don't know what I'm going to put in my videos anymore because I just shared a whole bunch of it with you, but that's okay. That's okay. Oh, the sun has gone down. It is dark. Oh my goodness. The Panthers still only have one. Now I'm curious. Oh, now I want to know if this is still the score, because the score has not changed since I have been on here, which means my husband is watching a very boring game. Anyway, anything else that we need to chat about before I let y'all go for the evening? I need to finish my water. It's fair and valid. So maybe you delay gratification in a different way. I'm sure you can think of plenty of ways to delay gratification. You told me about one just today that you delay gratification. So you can delay gratification in many, many different kinds of ways. Like the example for me that will always work is the whole, the dessert thing. The dessert after lunch is a perfect illustration for how I need to delay gratification, right? Or for me, it's wanting to buy 5 different snacky type things at the store. You don't need 5. Maybe have 1. Wait until you're done. It's not that I can't go out and buy whatever the heck it is that I want. I will never be told, no, you can't have the particular Oreo or go get a crumble cookie when you want it or whatever. I can have those things. That's perfectly allowed. But it behooves me to delay gratification. It behooves me to wait and twiddle my thumbs, not go and get a crumble cookie this week, if I know, or at least I hope, that because next week is the week leading up to Easter, carrot cake shows up. Because carrot cake is my favorite crumble cookie, by the way. So if that cookie shows up at Crumble Cookies next week, you better believe I'm going to Crumble Cookies and I'm buying a 4-pack. Delaying that because I delayed that gratification. And then once I have that 4-pack, I'm going to have to delay gratification to not eat them all at once because those cookies are good. The carrot cake one is my fave. So it's different for everybody. For some people, it's the distraction of television or a new episode of Netflix or whatever the case may be. Things of that nature. It all depends on the person. Shopping for new things. This is one that I also have to practice and that sometimes, admittedly, am very terrible at. Very terrible at. But, it is what it is. Learning, growing, personal development. So I will let y'all know how any mental toughness exercises go and especially how the rest of that book goes because I am pumped to read that book. And it's funny because a lot of the other self-help book stuff is very much geared towards getting more done and being able to embrace the hustle and the productivity and the this, that, and the other thing. And this book is so very deliberately the opposite. So it'll be very interesting to see how, if my perspective changes, my to-do list changes, my routine changes, what changes, who the heck knows? But that is what it is. Had a great time this week. Love to all. Thank you, Paulette. Oh, look at how cute the little smiley face is. That's adorable. I don't know if that came across as an actual emoji in the YouTube chat, but for me, it did not. But all right, friends, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you for hanging out. Links are in the chat, and the chat is available for replay for actually, before I close out, I'm going to copy. Where is that link that Lissa sent? There it is. I can't. It won't let me highlight it. Drat. Can I copy this? Y'all. No, I can't. I can't copy the link. Never mind. I'll put any links that I can get my hands on for stuff that we've discussed in the comment section down, or the info box thing down below. Thank you all for hanging out with me, and I will talk to you all same time next week.